Hello everyone, I am a student at Flushing High School and you are listening to Dreams Across Borders, a Flushing High School podcast. This podcast is where we share stories about moving, growing, and everything in between. In this episode, I'll be sharing the migration story of my mother coming to America with me and my brother. Back in Pakistan, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, my family and I used to live in a large house with my uncle, aunt, and grandparents. From what I remember, most families in Pakistan prefer to live this way and it's quite common to see. It wasn't all that bad there because I enjoyed being around my whole family, and we lived in a neighborhood with a school not too far from our home. And I remember there being more sand, dirt, than paved roads. There would also be really small, narrow roads where you'd have to travel to get somewhere else. Our financial status was substantial enough to cover all our needs. Like most of the Pakistani families, my family was devout, and community status and reputation were equally important to families. The standard for status was affected directly by marriage, what family you married into, their religious image, and financial status. Because of religious atmosphere, any disruptions in marriage brings the family status down, like if a divorce happens or if a wedding's called off for any reasons. At home, there are multiple cases of women being threatened with violence, rape, or other forms of sexual harassment that it becomes necessary for a man to be present. It would be even worse if you were a divorced woman. You'd be seen as a disgrace to your family and, in a way, be shunned by everyone else. Divorce was a stigma, and unfortunately this was the case for my mother, and a major reason for us eventually moving. We moved from home for a couple of other reasons, including constant blame for things despite having nothing to do with them, and my mom being treated as a worker there. We were kept in one room to avoid any other fights and to hide in a way. My mom dealt with this for 7 to 8 years before she was finally fed up and decided to make a change and come here. We couldn't just move out of nowhere one day without any help, especially since my mom didn't know how to get a visa to go to a different country. Luckily for her, some people within our family whom my mom trusted helped her obtain a visa, specifically New York. It took her an extremely long and difficult time to do all this, especially with all of it being done in secret. Once we were done with that stage, we were finally able to start preparing and getting ready to come here, and eventually, we went to the airport and took our flight. The rest of the family didn't find out until the day we had our flight, but there wasn't anything they could have done to stop us at that point since we'd already moved and gotten on the plane. My grandparents dropped us off at the airport, and it was the last time I saw them. When we finally got off the plane, one of my mom's cousins picked us up from the airport and helped us settle in for a bit. As we looked around, all I saw were either roads or buildings that weren't as crowded as it was in Pakistan. The cultural differences were obvious just from the clothing people wore and how they talked. In Pakistan, you usually talk to people, especially older people, in a respectful tone and manner, and I didn't see that happen here much too often. There was also a language barrier, which was expected since we didn't know how to speak English at the time, and since there wasn't anyone else we knew that would be with us to translate between Urdu and English, we couldn't communicate with anyone else. However, this issue was short-lived because learning and communicating with other people in English came quickly to us. Although it did take us quite a while to adjust to the surroundings, as we would often get lost multiple times before finding the place we were looking for. I even remember while we were trying to find the middle school I was trying to get enrolled to, we got lost in front of it because the whole block just looked so strange. When my mom's cousin helped us move into their house, she introduced us to these two women whom my mother still keeps contact with to this day. With their help, she enrolled both me and my brother into school and helped us understand everything about New York and even helped my mom obtain a job. When we had to leave the house, we didn't have anywhere else to stay, so once again, both of the women helped my mother find a small room that was shared with another family, and we stayed there for quite a bit. Eventually, as things got better, we moved into a better place. We went from sharing a room with a family to moving into a very small house that might have been a garage, then moving into a basement, then moving into an apartment, and finally moving into another apartment where we live now. I didn't mind moving every few years since each time that we did, we moved into a place that was better than the last. It showed progress as we started from sharing a room with another family to living in an apartment that had different rooms for ourselves. The two women who had helped us settle in were also migrants and shared a similar struggle to ours. They helped my mother get a job and find multiple places to stay, as well as help me and my brother get enrolled into school for the very first time. With their help, my mother was able to have a base to start and providing for us to live in. There was also another woman who helped my mother by giving her a job when she didn't have anywhere else to work. Even during COVID, when everyone else was struggling, she was giving out stuff to us as well as other people to support them all. Aside from that, as we started learning about the area around us, we eventually found different mosques near us that we could go to. I remember my mom putting me in those weekend classes at one of the mosques. They were just basic classes that went over our religion, how to pray, and other stuff. I'm glad she did it because it made me adjust to my environment way easier, as I knew there were people who were similar to me or had similar backgrounds. It just made me more comfortable to be there, and I enjoyed going there weekly. It's been a long time since that year of settling in, and since then, me and my brother have been doing amazing. We are both a bunch of nerds going into extremely competitive STEM fields in the future, and we both have won awards academically or through competitions. Both me and my brother go to really good schools. As for my mother, she has found a better job and more stable job for her and us to support us. It's been about 11 years since all that happened, and we're continuing to improve and get better. I'm glad that my mom had even decided to take such a big leap of faith into moving to the US. As someone who didn't know anything about the outside world, and without her bravery, we would have been stuck in that same room back in Pakistan, still worried and hiding to this day. Or perhaps we wouldn't even be alive. I've learned a lot since, things that I would never gotten the chance to learn in Pakistan. And now that we're here, I hope to stay here for the rest of my life, and for my future generations, I hope to keep our religion and culture alive within them.
Thank you for listening to Dreams Across Borders, a Flushing High School podcast. This episode was written and produced by students at Flushing High School. In response to the current political climate, we have chosen to remain anonymous to ensure both safety of our participants and ensure their voices will be heard. If you enjoyed this episode, please take some time to donate to one of the following charities that provide services to refugees and immigrants in our communities. If you need legal advice or help, please reach out to these charities as well. International Rescue Committee, Doctors Without Borders, Refugees International, National Immigration Law Center, Make the Road New York, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees.